Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this a bit of a warm day. Not that we've had many recently for RiverWoods Exeter 101 program. My colleague Chrissy, Katie, and myself will be taking the next hour of your time going through RiverWoods Exeter so you can all learn a little bit more about our community, our life care community, and all the different opportunities that exist here in Exeter. So we'll be starting in just a minute, waiting for a few more people to join us. The next program will run for about 1 hour in length. We will plan to take some questions at the end of the hour based upon the time that's left. A really good turnout today, Chrissy, which is exciting.
Yes. Hopefully you're all in air conditioning right now.
Yes. All right, so it's a little after 1 o'clock now, so we'll get started with today's program. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today as we walk through the next hour. RiverWoods Exeter, so my name is Dan Witham. I'm a senior living sales counselor here, along with my colleague Chrissy Katie, as well as a senior living sales counselor, and our other colleague Lisa Clark, who some of you may be working with. Will not be on today's event. She's taking a little vacation time, so we're happy that she can enjoy that. So this is our team here, among some other members of our team here at RiverWoods Exeter. For today's program, we always like to note that you will all be on mute, but certainly we welcome questions for the program. So in the bottom of your screen, typically for most of you that are online or an iPad, you'll see a Q&A box. You can use that to ask any questions of today's programs. We always say wait till towards the end to ask any questions because we are going to cover a lot of information over the next hour. I'll again use that Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. If you're on a phone, it might be in a different location. Certainly, we always love suggestions on how we can improve our programming. If you have a topic for a future event that you think other future residents, prospects might have of interest, certainly let us know. So again, communicate with your senior living counselor that's been assigned to you in the community here. As we're getting started, we always love to talk about our mission, how we were founded. The exciting part for RiverWoods Exeter is this year we are turning 30 years old. So 30 years ago, RiverWoods, the Woods campus opened here in Exeter, and now we're 3 campuses into 1. Our founders, Rosemary Coffin of Exeter and Mariana Hatch of Durham, got together back in the mid to late 80s, came together as a grassroots effort to really work together to find solutions to senior living and that access to healthcare when people needed it. So back in the 80s, they planned, got together, and came up with the concept of RiverWoods. And again, 30 years ago today, or not today exactly, but 30 years ago this year, RiverWoods Exeter was founded and opened. So really realizing their dream where people could come together, have that sense of community, and have that full access to healthcare when in time they needed it. And then 2019, RiverWoods Durham was opened, and Rosemary and Mariana really realized the dream of having an additional community in our RiverWoods system. Today, RiverWoods is made up of 3 communities. We are a non-for-profit system of communities. We are here at RiverWoods Exeter today. We also have RiverWoods Manchester on the northwest corner of Manchester, and then RiverWoods Durham as our 3 communities as they stand today. Each community is independently financially of each other. So finances in Exeter stay in Exeter, Manchester, Manchester, Durham, and Durham. We have a CCRC board, which is made up of local individuals and then residents from each of our 3 RiverWoods communities. Our system CEO, Justine Vogel, who is very nationally recognized and has been with RiverWoods for 30 years herself, and CEO of our group of communities. We also have the RiverWoods Group. That was founded several years back to really provide fee-based services for our communities and residents. Things like finance, information technology or IT, marketing, quality control, all those would fall under the RiverWoods Group system, really providing those services, fee-based services to each of our 3 communities to save on all those resources being at each community. They also will provide at-risk funding for any projects that communities might be undertaking, whether that's future expansion or our health center here in Exeter that we'll learn more about shortly. And then again, as I mentioned on the top, communities are financially independent of each other, so the assets in each community stay in each community moving forward. RiverWoods Exeter, as it stands today, is made up of 3 neighborhoods or campuses in one big community called RiverWoods Exeter. Our Woods campus that was opened in 1994 features 201 apartments on a 2-story building, so a very wide footprint, but only 2 stories in height. Our middle campus opened in 2004 called The Ridge, 81 apartments, and then 11 external cottages surrounding the community. And then the Boulders campus that opened in 2010, featuring 75 apartments and then 24 cottages. As our communities grew and we added the 2 additional campuses, our apartment sizes grew. And again, with those additional cottages, larger cottages from 1,800 to just under 2,400 square feet. The communities are all a little different in nature. The makeup of residents is a little bit different. The focus of the residents is a little different. So we always recommend you coming to visit the communities to get a better sense of what the communities are like from the community space, the residents. Our Woods campus is very active, a lot of different types of residents, and the Ridge and Boulders have their own uniqueness as well. As we're talking about our communities, we always like to give you a little background of our community here at RiverWoods Exeter. So we are a CCRC, or continuing care retirement community. We always like to focus on accreditation, meaning our community is accredited with a community called CARF, so CARF, which is the Commission for Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities. So RiverWoods Exeter is currently undergoing an update with CARF at the current time, and we have been rated in the past. So we are one of the only 10% of continuing care retirement communities around the country that are accredited. CARF is a nonprofit accreditor for health and human services worldwide. So it's a great attribute to RiverWoods Exeter to have this accreditation of our community. Plus, RiverWoods Exeter was one of the first amongst many in the country to receive this accreditation. Again, in 2019, RiverWoods was accredited with 5 additional years, and we are in the current update of doing that accreditation again. And we fall within the top 3% of the communities nationwide. So accreditation for some people is very important. We feel it is here at RiverWoods as well. If you'd like to learn more about accreditation and CARF, you can certainly check that out at www.carf.org. So for RiverWoods, we are considered a life care community or a form of long-term care insurance. So many people, when they're not sure about RiverWoods, some people think of us as real estate, but we really are an insurance product where we are guaranteeing when you move in as an independent resident, enjoy all the aspects of living in a community. And as your healthcare needs change, you have access to all forms of additional enhanced healthcare, from assisted living, nursing care, or even memory support. And that's for your lifetime here in the community. So you never have to seek out another location for any of those services once you move into our community. We have a very highly refundable entrance fee, the cost of buying into the community. That's refundable at 90%. We also have additional contracts if you'd like to use your money towards your advantage of living here in the community. But 90% refundable entrance fee, so it really gives you asset preservation, leaving that for future beneficiaries, a trust or more. So that estate preservation is really important to a lot of our residents here in the community. We have a predictable monthly service fee that provides you with all the aspects of living in the community, from dining, fitness, programming, and of course that access to all those enhanced forms of healthcare when and if you ever need that here in the community. So again, full life care community, we are basically a long-term care insurance product where you're guaranteeing where that future care will be in the future. Healthcare resources here in our community, for many people looking at a life care community, these are very important aspects of living. So we are here to support your current needs and then your future needs as well. Each of our communities, or each campus here, has a wellness clinic that is staffed by a nurse practitioner and then our nursing team, so to help our residents on daily activities of living. Wellness clinics are staffed Monday through Friday for walk-in hours in the morning and then scheduled appointments in the afternoon, providing simple services, things like possible lab work, flu shots, really your first check-in if you're not feeling well. So really here to support you as an independent resident. As your other health needs change, you would move to those higher forms of enhanced living. Our assisted living apartments here in the community are for single people or couples. Residents will always make that really determining choice when that time comes to move to that enhanced level of care. Assisted living apartments are 1 or 2 bedrooms with full living, dining spaces, separate bedrooms, and private bathrooms. As you move to higher levels of care for memory support or nursing care, you would still have all private individual suites and private bathrooms. So something really important to note. We also have 24-hour nursing care here in the community, so available for all your healthcare needs. We offer respite care that is for independent residents. So if you are looking at having a future surgery, operation, replacement of a knee or hip, or any other need that requires short-term nursing care in our communities, that is available to you as an independent resident. So we call that respite care. So a temporary stay in nursing or healthcare until you're able to go back to your independent living apartment. And those are unlimited number of days with our community contract. We are overseen by medical director, Dr. Timothy Keenan, who is a local doctor in the Seacoast area. So he oversees our healthcare resources here at RiverWoods Exeter. A note to other future residents or people prospects on this call that all residents would still keep their primary care provider, and then you would work with our healthcare team, our nurse practitioners, and other team members here as your higher level of care. Most services are covered in your monthly service fee. So as residents transition to that higher level of care from their independent home to assisted living, memory support, or nursing care, your prices for your monthly service fees stay with you other than the cost of 2 additional meals. We also like to share our evolution of healthcare here at RiverWoods Exeter. We are currently looking in the future of where we are today and where we are going for tomorrow. So today we currently operate 3 healthcare centers or lodges, as we call them here in our community, 1 at each of our 3 campuses, the Woods, Ridge, and Boulders, offering assisted living options, long-term care, memory support, and nursing care and skilled nursing here in our community. Also, short-term rehab, respite care available at all of our services as well. But currently, we are looking ahead at the next 15, 20, and 30 years of our community of where we are now and where we're going. So we have staffing inefficiencies like most communities do, worried about our healthcare workers, our nurses, our LNAs, limited amenities, and then what our buildings offer as far as technology. So we are in the process over the next few years of looking how to expand our healthcare services and centralize them into 1 central healthcare center versus 3 healthcare lodges. So our future will have 1 healthcare center providing all the different forms of enhanced care, assisted living, long-term care, short-term rehabilitation, memory support, and nursing care. That will all take place closer to our Ridge campus, so still here at RiverWoods Exeter, but providing 1 new state-of-the-art facility that will take care of all the healthcare needs of our residents. The current healthcare lodges or healthcare locations will turn into more independent living apartments, which will certainly, hopefully help with some of our wait times. The benefits of the new health center, again, from the standpoint of staffing, having 1 health center to staff versus 3 individual health centers, the state-of-the-art technology, bringing in a lot of new services and programming, and then the design, having a lot more outdoor space and open space in the community, making it wonderful for our residents here now and in the future. This is kind of some conceptual renditions of some of what the space might look like. The top left is the welcoming or the drive up where people would come in, the main entrance of the healthcare center, really trying to keep into the look and feel of RiverWoods Exeter as it currently exists. You'll see the bottom left, you'll see some open space. So memory support will have access to outdoor space, as well as residents in assisted living. So having a lot more green space. And to the right, just that more open concept, having a lot more just open air spaces that residents can enjoy versus just static hallways and spaces like that. So again, these are conceptual at this point, but we always like to share information as we are going along. The expected time frame still in the next probably 3 to 4 years. We are going through the stages of planning currently at this time. Around our campuses at RiverWoods Exeter, I'm going to talk about a few of our services and amenities, and then shortly Chrissy will go into a little more depth of some of these programs and amenities around our campus as well. We have a flexible dining program, which we will talk about shortly. Residents have access to lunch or dinner here in our community in our beautiful dining rooms at 3 campuses. We have fitness centers, one at each of our 3 campuses, and those include a full gym, a 24-hour access, indoor pools at each campus as well. We have a great assortment of entertainment and cultural opportunities, from speaker programs to live entertainment, our RiverWoods choral groups and instrumental groups as well. So a lot of opportunities from a socialization aspect. We have courtesy transportation. Courtesy transportation in our community runs within a 25-mile radius of RiverWoods Exeter. We call it scheduled transportation. So things like medical, doctor's appointments, pharmacies, grocery stores, and then access to local transportation, whether it's the Amtrak down Easter or going out to C&J bus lines to take a bus down to Logan Airport. So that 25-mile area of transportation is really valuable to many of our residents, especially as people are aging. We offer housekeeping services, and on a bi-weekly basis, housekeeping will come and clean your apartment for you. What a great feature. I think we're ready for that now, me and Chrissy. And then also provide flat linen service. That's your sheets and towels, your personal sheets and towels. They will launder those and bring them back to your apartment. The best part of a community amongst just that socialization aspect is the idea of no more maintenance. So those home maintenance activities, mowing your lawn, snow shoveling, fixing your roof, repairing things that break, are all the responsibility of RiverWoods Exeter. So your responsibility of interior and exterior home maintenance is taken care of here in the community. Most utilities are all supplied and included in their monthly service fees in the community, including your heat, hot water, electricity. And then we bundle our internet, landline phone, and basic cable as an additional $95 charge per month. That is really one of the only additional fees. Mostly everything else is included in your monthly service fees here. Access to the wellness clinic with that nurse practitioner and our nurse for walk-in hours Monday through Friday. And then 24-hour security in our community, which is very valuable and important to residents. And the option of wearing e-call pendants around your neck or on your wrist. Certainly as residents need those services, having that option just to push a button for emergency care to come to your convenience. As I was talking a little bit about dining a few moments ago, so this is just a little overview of our dining program. A monthly bank of dining points is used for any of our dining options, whether it's eating in our main dining rooms, takeout services, if you have out-of-town guests or family members coming to dine with you, and then some basic catering, and then we call grocery items or our marketplace. The dining points, our full program is included in the monthly service fees. We also have alternative dining programs. So if you're a person that loves to still cook when you move into the community, certainly our apartments provide full kitchens, and you can go to a lower dining program if you're not using those services fully. Residents can dine at 5 different dining options across 3 campuses. We have traditional dining rooms at each campus. We have a bistro. We also have a marketplace, pizza oven at our Boulders, and now a new salad bar at our Woods campus. So some different options at different campuses, though the food is very much the same, or the menu is the same at each of our 3 campuses here. We also work with residents who have any dietary preferences and vegetarian choices. So our menus are marked for gluten-free and vegetarian options. And certainly we do our best, though we are a very large community, to accommodate most requests when we can. And then food is locally sourced from local farms and areas close to the seacoast. We are pretty much a scratch-made kitchen with wonderful dining options here in the community. This is a picture of our Boulders dining room to give you a sense of the space, a beautiful stacked stone fireplace in the center of our Boulders dining room with the higher ceilings. You can see this is very traditional with table linens. We have tables of 2 up to larger seating tables, and even community tables where multiple residents can join together to dine. We also have outdoor dining options available for residents at the Boulders and the Ridge. So if you prefer to have your meals outside, though the summer has been a little difficult with the high heat and humidity. This is a picture of our bistro dining room located at our Ridge campus. So showing you a more casual dining component, where residents would walk up, place their order, sit down, and the food is brought to your table. In our traditional dining rooms, many residents can order right at the table and have the food served right directly to you. This is one of our country stores. This is located at our Woods campus. So each of our 3 campuses or neighborhoods have a beautiful country store. These are resident run and resident maintained. So residents will volunteer their time to maintain our store for really everyday items that you might need on short notice or just not feeling like you want to go out to the local grocery store. So we have your favorite cereals, as you can see down below, things like paper towels, napkins, crackers, gluten-free crackers, everyday commodities, greeting cards, and even some local made items from the chocolatier in Exeter. So for residents, these conveniences are just around the corner. So instead of going out to the local grocery store, and as the residents say, if you don't see it in the country store, you probably don't need it. And recently had some wonderful local strawberries from a local farm that residents were able to have as well. So country store is really a convenience store, again, located at each one of the 3 campuses. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Chrissy, who is going to take you through some aspects of living in the community, some of the services available. So Chrissy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Dan. It's a pleasure to be here today. I hope everybody's staying cool. The Northeast has had some really hot weather. So if you're throughout the country, I've seen hot temperatures there as well as thunder showers and things like that. So hopefully everybody's staying safe and hydrated. I am going to be taking you through the next portion of our program, which talks about the many activities we offer here, and as well as showing you some of the pictures of some of our apartment styles along the way. This first slide shows you Boulders Hall, which is actually right behind Dan as well today. This is our largest gathering space. It seats up to about 200 people, theater style. And again, we do have community spaces in each of our campuses. So the Ridge has the Ridge Room, the Woods has the Great Bay Room, and Boulders Hall is at the Boulders campus. We host a number of different lectures, performances. We have parties in there, marketing events, also resident events from concerts, lectures, community updates. And you can choose a variety of events on your biweekly calendar, and it will tell you which large community space it will be in. The most recent events we've held in our Boulders Hall or any of the other campuses as well we've hosted Dan Brown, a local author, Chris Christie when he was in the primary campaign, and just most recently Governor Chris Sununu was here providing the state of the state. While we're in looking at kind of our big community space, I think it's important to mention our educational enrichment, which is very important to our residents here and our whole community. The mission of our education committee, which is an all-campus committee, volunteer committee, is to provide an enrichment opportunity for our residents through educational programs, lectures here at RiverWoods, short courses, and it would be catered to a wide variety of interests. We bring in both outside speakers and also use some of our residents here for those courses. As I mentioned, our committee is resident run, and they will meet regularly to discuss different opportunities for the lectures, outside trips and courses that we will provide for the year. And then also discussing the committee duties of each person in the committee. They also work in collaboration with one of our departments here, our community life staff, who will help to promote events and book spaces on our campus. Just to give you an idea of how much we have done throughout the last year, in 2023, there were more than 20 in-person programs provided across all 3 campuses. And the topics included a variety of interests, including arts, the arts, history, crafts, performances, archaeology, geology, nature, travel, and local services and town departments, literature, our environment, and also issues around aging. So that's just to name a few. We also have a library at each one of our campuses as well. This is a picture here of our Woods campus, our Woods library. And they are interconnected. So with an electronic card catalog, you can find out if you can find a book at the Woods, Ridge, or Boulders. And usually if you can't find it at one campus, you'll find it at another. It is all run by our volunteer library committee, which is another very active committee. And I will mention also, as a resident of Exeter, you also have the privileges at the Exeter Town Library, which is also another wonderful library to get to know. Now we'll move into some of our popular activities here. It's always an important part of our community residents and staff to stay active. And I have a light that keeps turning off, so I apologize. Motion censored. So no matter what level of fitness you have, it's really easy here to find something to enjoy. We, for instance, take a few laps in our indoor pools, work out in one of our fitness centers, walk one of our trails. You can either walk or snowshoe during the winter. We have some cycling groups, some hiking groups. And just even walking, casual walking groups. So there's a lot to do here and a lot of different ways to be active. You're looking here at our Boulders pool, and this is the best pool I would think here in our community for lap swimming. So if you're a lap swimmer, you would love this. This is 20 yards long and pretty wide. Our Woods pool is equally long. Our Ridge pool is about 15 yards long. All of them are fabulous for our aqua aerobics classes and open all the time for people who want to take a swim anytime during the day. We also have hot tubs at each one of our campuses in that pool room. And if you're one of the popular events that was formed by our residents is every Wednesday afternoons, we have a volleyball game that's very popular to the residents. We do keep our pools comfortable at anywhere from 84 to 88 degrees. So it's cool enough for our swimmers and warm enough for our aqua aerobics goers. This is a picture here also at the Boulders of our cardio room. And again, we have a cardio room at each one of our campuses. So you don't have to travel between the campuses to exercise. You can stay within your own community, but there are certain classes which you may want to travel to. But the nice thing is the classes that you're for instance, strength and balance, you can attend at each at your own campus. And as well with the cardio rooms, you can enjoy working out in your own campus and walking down the hall to do that. So you have no excuse to get your 30 minutes of cardio in. This is a great picture of our pickleball players, just two of them actually, but that's a very popular game here. We started off with one pickleball court, and then they requested we build another. So we now have two pickleball courts, very well used. These look like our happy pickleball players. They're very interested in bringing people into the fold. So they have educational seminars to help people learn how to play, always welcoming new members to their group. And they also sometimes will do a yearly kind of round robin where they bring anyone who wants to come in. They've invited staff before. They've had a hot dog roast just to get people over there to get interested in playing pickleball. Now we're moving on to our creative side. And so we have, as you know, probably know, if you know any of the residents here, that art is also a very important part of our community. And we have art studios in every one of our campuses. 2 art studios at the Woods, a pottery studio and a painting studio, a creative art studio at the Ridge, and then a creative art studio at the Boulders. So there are programs going in there all the time. We have a local artist named Doris Rice who will teach watercolor courses. We have residents here who will teach drawing courses, and kind of a round robin of a la carte art sessions where people can just come in and join other residents to work on their own projects. But it's a nice social thing to do. You're looking at a picture here of one of our residents who had been an artist as a young man and enjoyed it. But, life got in the way and he had a family and a job. And so he had stopped working on it until he came to RiverWoods. And he was so inspired by all the artwork around here and all the artists creating. So now you see him every morning at one of our woods art studios, in our Pinkham Art Studio, working on his craft. This is actually the studio where you see him working in the mornings. And this is one of our art studios at the Woods, which is wonderful for painters because it brings in a lot of natural light. But in this picture, you can also see the variety of art that happens in there, specifically on your lower left corner here. You can see an option of one of our Nantucket baskets. And that's another fun thing that's been passed along since the creation of the Woods. We've always had a resident who knows how to teach Nantucket basket weaving. And they have taught other residents as they've gone along. So you can often find a group of residents in there learning how to create Nantucket baskets. And there've been tons of different molds, different shapes and sizes. It's really fun to see what they create. We also have a very active woodworking committee. You can see some members right here. We do have women involved as well. If you're a woman and you like to use the wood shop, always welcome. A lot of active woodworkers here, and they create anything from trail signs, benches for our trails, canoe paddles, cutting boards, furniture, you name it. And they even can turn a wooden bowl or two. It is run by our woodworking committee, who's also very active in wanting to make sure that anyone who uses our wood shop can use it safely. Our musicians are also very active here. So if you have any kind of an interest, I think you're probably gathering, you'll find a place here. We have everything from small instrumental groups, women's barbershop quartet, a group that started learning how to play the recorder and now they play regularly. We have ukulele players. We have piano players who will, play concerts or actually we get the benefit of them for for most of our celebrations that we do for holidays. And we have a RiverWoods chorus as well. Always looking for male singers. So if you're a bass singer, we would love to have you. And they rehearse on Tuesday afternoons and perform 2 concerts a year. And RiverWoods community is always getting the beneficiary of all this musical talent throughout the year. We also love our gardeners. So if you're out there working on a garden, hopefully not in this heat, but and you're hoping that you're not going to miss that when you come here, we have a variety of ways to continue to garden. We have raised garden beds throughout our campus. We also have a very active gardening committee who often works alongside our landscapers for some of the gardens and the front entrances. We have also very well known for our being the largest arboretum in New Hampshire with over 300 species of trees and shrubs. And another interesting fact is that we have some staff and resident beekeepers here. So we keep bees, and when we're successful, last year we were able to sell our honey in the country stores. We also have a barn located over on our Boulders campus where we house our 3 goats, which were inherited by a nearby farm. So there's always a fun place for our residents and families to visit, whether it be beautiful gardens with vegetables and flowers or enjoying the goats. Now we're going to move on into our apartment styles and cottages. And this is a cottage photo of one of our cottages at the Boulders. And as we mentioned before, Dan mentioned, they're all cottages and apartments are all fully equipped with fully equipped kitchens, individually controlled heating and air conditioning, all Wi-Fi enabled. All of our apartments, and you'll see this when you see some of the pictures going forward, have these solariums, which bring in a lot of light and extra space into our apartments. Every apartment comes with a storage area, which is about 3.5 by 4 feet by 8 feet tall. So you don't have to bring your golf clubs, skis, suitcases. You don't have to keep those in your apartments. You have a nice place to store those. We also have guest rooms available in our apartments for anyone outside visitors. And each apartment does come with an outside outdoor parking space, 1 or 2, depending on how many cars you're bringing with you. And other parking options are available at an additional fee. Of course, our cottages come with a 2-car garage. I should mention we have about 40 different floor plans across all 3 of our campuses. So you'll see some of them in a few minutes. Actually, right now. Here is a studio. I'm sorry. This is a Trillium, a large 1-bedroom at our Woods campus. And you can see right in the back there a beautiful solarium that brings in the light, kind of an open concept kitchen. But it also shows a few of our standards that we're working with, our luxury vinyl plank, so that you can bring in your area rugs. And then we'll move to the next picture. In this same apartment is the kitchen, open kitchen concept. If we are changing cabinets out, when we do the refurbishment of that apartment, we are using painted white shaker style cabinets, a choice of quartz or granite on the counters, and our stainless steel appliances, GE appliances are available as well. Looking into a different style apartment, this is our Ridge campus. This is a Magnolia. So if you're looking at any of our apartment floor plans online, this is a 2-bedroom, and again, featuring a nice large solarium in the back there, a nice open kitchen style, and large dining and living space. The next slide shows our Cypress apartment, which is a regular 2-bedroom over at our Boulders campus. And I like showing this picture because it really shows that you can bring your own personality with you when you come to your new home. A lot of residents will choose their favorite pieces and bring them to their new apartments, to bring their home to them here at RiverWoods, and enjoy. We have our standard options and choices for you to make your apartment beautiful, which are all very neutral, so that you can really bring your style in with you with your furnitures and decor. This is a picture of one of our cottage kitchens. And again, we're showing you kind of the styles you can bring in: the stone countertops, the stainless steel appliances, luxury vinyl plank on the floor. And if you love to cook, you can see that you have an optimal space and availability to do that. Of course, you still get your 1 meal a day, so you don't have to cook. But if you like to cook, these are great, great spacious kitchens for you. Oops. Move on here. There. As you probably know, if you've been doing your research, we are located right down near downtown Exeter, about 2 miles away. We have 200 acres here near the Exeter River. Very easy access to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire, an hour from Portland, an hour from Boston. The New Hampshire seacoast is a wonderful place to explore. So I do recommend that you explore Seacoast online and get a feel of this area here. And we're also close enough to our mountains and lakes and our ski resorts. And so it's a really great location here. And if you've also been doing more research so far, you also are probably aware of New Hampshire and our tax advantages here. We have no general sales tax, no personal income tax, no capital gains. We're top ranked in the New England states, and the 5th lowest tax burden in our country, in the country. So we don't tend to go too detailed on pricing, but I think it's nice to at least give you a slide of a summary here. As we mentioned about a little while ago, we have about 40 different floor plans ranging anywhere from studio apartments, which are about 570 to 580 square feet, all the way to cottages, which are, you know, over 2,000 square feet. So our studios range, you know, the entrance fee of 237,000, all the way down to our cottages, which are over $1 million, with monthly fees ranging from 3,153 down to over $9,000 for cottages. The second person fee would be added if you're a couple, and that is always the same regardless of the size of the apartment. Would be a $60,000 fee with a monthly fee of $2,052. And we've mentioned this before, but our most popular contract type, if you were to pay that entrance fee, 90% of your first person entrance fee would come back to you if you were to leave here, or to your estate if you lived your life here. The 10%, which is not refundable, is tax deductible, as well as the 60,000 second person entrance fee.
Sorry about that.
Okay. And now I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dan.
Thank you very much. And then also, from a tax deduction standpoint, a percentage of your monthly service fee is also tax deductible because you are essentially prepaying for future medical care. So certainly reach out to your sales counselor to get those more specific numbers on that. So we have to, once we kind of go through a lot of information today, we also like to tell you kind of how to take next steps. Generally, for most people, it will be scheduling a tour of our community, because the best way to learn more is to see more. So coming to tour our communities, we have 3 campuses and a variety of floor plans, as Chrissy had mentioned. So coming to tour to see what it's like to live here, to see residents, to see dining, fitness, and programming. So certainly we always highly suggest coming on a tour for once, or even maybe a second time for some people as well. So we're going to talk about our process. If you were interested, you've seen the community and you say this maybe is the place I want to spend the rest or the balance of my life. So we currently have wait times. We really like to make sure people are very well aware, because wait times can either be encouraging or discouraging. So our wait times currently here in our community range from about 3 years up to 8 years. And that number 8 is really true. So 3 years for our smaller 1-bedroom style apartments. As you get into larger 2-bedroom apartments and even cottages, the wait times can run 6 to 8 years potentially. So again, speak to your senior living counselor to find out specific wait times based upon the category apartment or cottage. So how to apply? Our first step is we call a CDP, or confidential data profile. That would determine your financial qualification for living here in the community. Combination of your assets, any real estate that you might be selling to move here, and then any income generated by pensions, Social Security, and more. So RiverWoods will take that information based around the apartment or cottage of interest. We use actuarial software here in the community to determine financial qualification. Once you are financially qualified, you would join our waitlist with a waitlist agreement. And then we require a reservation fee. Some communities know it as a deposit. And that's really based around the floor plan or cottage style of your choice. Those reservation fees range from $25,000 to $99,000. That number is fully refundable for any reason if you should change your mind while joining the waitlist. So that's really important for people to know. The only loss is a $1,000 cancellation fee if you decide not to come to the community. If you do decide RiverWoods is the right community and you do intend to move in, we do have a reservation fee, simple annual interest incentive of 4% that will be applied to that reservation fee as long as you move into the community in the future. So a little incentive for you to make money on your money while you're waiting to move in. And the most part that we really like to emphasize is we are flexible. So you tell us when you are ready. Even though we do have wait times, some people will say, what happens when I get that phone call, that important phone call that there's an apartment available. So our first step in our process is if you do join our wait list and you're on the wait list, we call you about a potential apartment. We would do a requalification from a financial perspective and also require a health assessment, meaning an individual or a couple or partners would have to qualify through a health assessment to live in the community. That is both physical and cognitive. If you are not ready to accept apartment at that time, you can pass and we will move on to the next person on the list and you maintain your place on the wait list. So very important to know that. So if it's not good timing, not the right apartment, not the right location, you can pass and you maintain your place on the wait list. So again, we always like to make sure people are very well aware of that fact because a lot of people are not ready when they get that first phone call, right, Chrissy? We're also going to go over a few frequently asked questions. As we're getting towards the end of our program here, we are going to have you submit questions. I think we have a few that have come in. But as you're thinking of questions of maybe something that you heard, weren't sure of, maybe we didn't cover, please submit those in the Q&A box below. But we're going to go through a few questions that are commonly asked questions that we get on a regular basis. So Chrissy, do you want to take the first one? Do you want me to take it? Your choice.
Take that one. First question,
Okay.
I have a long-term care insurance policy. Can I use this at RiverWoods Exeter? The question is, yes, you certainly can. We are considered a long-term care insurance, which is why we are our contracts are monitored by the state. We're monitored by the state of New Hampshire. It is a bit redundant. So if you are paying a lot of money for your long-term care insurance policy, some people may choose to get rid of it. We recommend here at RiverWoods that when you move in and you have a policy that you've been maintaining for quite some time, you may want to hold on to it for a year or two. Make sure that RiverWoods is for you, that you like community living, because you don't want to get rid of it and find out that you'd like to, you don't want to be here and you've just lost your policy. However, you can use your policies if you want to maintain it in our assisted, and I guess it depends on your policy, but typically once you move into our assisted living apartments or nursing care, you can be reimbursed by your long-term care insurance policy. They can reimburse you for our monthly service fee. It would be something that you would submit to your insurance company. So some people choose to keep it if they're not paying a lot of money for that, if they had it for a long time. But it's something you can take a look at with our finance people once you become residents here.
Great answer. Great question. Great answer. Next question is, what happens if one partner in a couple needs a higher level of care? So because we are a continuing care retirement community, the general steps for residents as an independent resident, if one person needs a higher level of care on a full-time basis, that one person would transition to assisted living, potentially nursing care or memory support if that be the case. The other partner, or in that case of a couple, would stay in the independent living apartment. So that does happen where one resident will move to a different apartment based upon the level of care. Certainly residents want to stay independent as long as they can. So you can look at options of bringing in healthcare into your independent living unit. But generally when someone needs full-time care, they would go to that higher level of enhanced care in one of our lodges or in the new centralized health center in that particular case. Here, because of our contract type, again, as residents go to higher level care, there's no increase in fees other than the cost of 2 additional meals, which is important to know.
Yeah.
Chrissy, if you'd like to take the next question.
What if I'm not ready to move when you call me about an apartment? Do I go to the bottom of the list? Well, I know Dan just described this scenario pretty well a minute ago, but it's always a good idea to go over it again. When you're called on the list, your name is on the list, we start going down the list to see if somebody's ready for an apartment. If we call you and have a conversation on the phone, and you've determined that you're really not ready, you're thinking you'd be ready in about 2 years, you're still downsizing, you're still enjoying your home. It's just a phone conversation. So it's basically, if you tell me you're not ready on the phone, I will go to the next person on the list, on our wait list, and just keep going until we find somebody who is ready. There's no penalty to you at all with a phone call like that. Once you determine that you think you are ready, if you get that phone call and say, yes, I think I would be interested in moving in, you would first have to requalify. You'd have to submit another confidential data profile and requalify financially. You would come in here for an in-person health assessment with our nurse practitioner. And once you qualified with both of those items, and saw the apartment we were offering, if you decided at that moment you were not interested, that would be considered your first refusal. And that you would have 3 refusals before going to the bottom of the list. So you would really have to qualify 3 times again, after 3 offers to go to the bottom of the list. And I can tell you, I've been here 17 years and I've never seen that happen. Usually you're ready to come in.
Great, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And our last question is, how long do I have to move in once I'm offered an apartment or cottage? Once you're requalified and see the apartment or cottage, you have 3 days to make a decision to accept the cottage or apartment. From that time to official closing, paying that entrance fee and start of monthly service fees. For an apartment, it is 60 days, and for a cottage, about 90 days. So it is a very short turnaround. We do understand it can be a very stressful time to many of our future residents. If you have to sell a home, if you have a lot of downsizing that you hadn't started when you joined the wait list. So certainly we do a lot of programming through RiverWoods to really get people ready. So when you do get that phone call and go through that process, we really want people to be ready to move into RiverWoods and be the right fit and right environment at the right time. So, but it is 60 days or 90 days. So it is a pretty quick turnaround. So that's why we'd like to share that question, because for some people that comes as a little bit of a surprise in that case. So again, we're finishing up, but you all have been great about submitting a good list of questions. I've been watching come in. So again, we're going to get to questions in just a bit, but to learn more, if you are new to learning about our RiverWoods Exeter community or continuing care communities, certainly you can seek us out, schedule an appointment with one of the senior living counselors who is assigned to you. You can learn more by looking at our RiverWoods Exeter website or our RiverWoods Exeter site. So riverwoodsnh.org, and just click the link for RiverWoods Exeter there. So we do one group site for all of our communities. That makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to get to some of the questions at this point in time, and then we'll finish up shortly with a little bit more. So, Chrissy, do you want to take the first question, and then I can go from there?
Sure. First question asks about our monthly fee and does it change over time and how often? Yes, our monthly fees do change each year. So we've just moved into a new fiscal year. We have a new price sheet as of July 1st of this year. This year, our monthly fees have gone up 3.25%, which our residents have been pretty happy about. After COVID, we had a couple of years where it went up pretty high, 6% one year and 8% the other. We've always aspired to only go up about 3% each year, and we were able to do that this year. But you will see each year a percentage of an increase based on cost of living, as well as our entrance fees. They go up as well. What was I going to mention about that? Again, you're still knowing what your costs will be, because they will not increase as far as fees for service as you transition.
Right. Perfect. Next question, are there lower cost buy-in options for those wanting to keep funds to invest elsewhere? Well, our entrance fees are all based around the apartment or cottage size. If you're looking for a large cottage, the investment is more. If you're looking for a smaller apartment, then the investment is less. To join our wait list, those are also based around a category. So our smaller apartments have lower, we call reservation fees or deposits to join our list. But if you are interested in a cottage, that would be a higher fee, reservation fee to join our list. So I hope that answered your question. The next question is, how will the building of the centralized health center be financed, and how will it affect the future monthly service fee increases? So currently, where we are today with the centralized health center, we are at the planning board stage for the town of Exeter. So kind of conceptual designs, as we showed you earlier, kind of finalizing those designs. From there, it would go to financing as a next step, and then construction, which is about a 2-year time frame if I have that updated. So a lot of some things are still being worked on. So how it's going to be financed, I really can't tell you other than kind of the timeline and structure. And then will it affect future monthly service fees? It's not the intention to do that. Really try to maintain our fees at the current rates or those increases that Chrissy just said. Again, right now, the RiverWoods group is really doing a lot of the work with the initial stages of this project, really keeping the community RiverWoods Exeter separate until it comes to the true financing of an actual building in that case. Chrissy, do you want to take the next question about the different campuses?
Different campuses, sure. To answer the second part, how close are they to each other? They're about half a mile between the Woods campus on one side of 111 and the Boulders campus on the other side of 111. The Ridge and the Boulders, the Ridge is in the middle there, is about 1/8 of a mile. So very walkable for people who like to walk the campuses and walk the surrounding neighborhoods. We also have a campus service shuttle that would take you door to door anytime you wanted to attend, a committee meeting or a performance. If you wanted to go to dinner at another campus one night or lunch. So they're easily accessible back and forth, whether you're walking, riding your bike, or driving with our campus, driving your own car or going with campus services. As far as the personalities, I think it's important for you to come in and see for yourself. I always say that no matter what, if the apartment style and the way the building looks is more important, because you're always going to find your people, whichever campus you're in. People definitely get a different feeling as they move from campus to campus, and you'll find the one that appeals to you more.
Perfect. Next question, are you able to share dining menus, activity calendars, fitness schedules? So the answer is yes. Certainly you can either reach out to your senior living counselor. We're happy to share current activity calendars, menus, fitness class schedules to give you a sample of what goes on here. Next question is the advantages of being accredited by CARF, that agency, and why would 90% of all CCRCs not opt to seek accreditation? The second part of that question is cost and time. It's a very expensive process to go through accreditation. And a lot of hours of work, and so time and cost are the biggest reasons why many are not. The advantage of being accredited for RiverWoods Exeter is really it's put us on the map across the country, really one of the top CCRCs across the country. It's a very a lot of detailed information on the services, the healthcare provided, and more. So from the standpoint, it's a great thing for us. Our other RiverWoods communities, currently Durham and Manchester, are not accredited, not because of any particular reason other than just the large venture that it takes to do that in that particular case. Chrissy, do you want to take the next question?
Sure. How far are the freestanding cottages away from the activity center and restaurants? It varies. We have some at our Ridge campus, which are really, you can, 100 yards from the main entrance. And a couple of, about 4 of our cottages over at the Boulders that is that way as well. And then we have a whole street called Sandstone Way of our cottages over by the Boulders that the furthest one away is probably about 1/8 of a mile. So you'll often see cottage residents walking back and forth between the campuses throughout the day. But again, we have, visitor parking, so you can drive over there in the evenings if you'd like to do that. It is definitely one thing you want to take into account when you think about whether you prefer a cottage over an apartment, because in your, in a big snowstorm, if you want to go to dinner, you may, you'd still have to walk back and forth between the cottage and the main campus. But it's something that our cottage residents do daily, and they don't have any problems with that.
And if you want to take the next question too.
Sure. Dogs in one photo. Are cats allowed? Absolutely. We allow cats and dogs, up to 2 pets per household. We have quite a few cats and quite a few dogs here at all 3 of our campuses. They're beloved by all of us. But also we do have some, we want them to be respectful of other residents. So dogs in particular need to be on leashes at all times. They're not allowed in our dining areas. and you do need to pick up after your pets. And then cats, we have signs all over in the community where the residents say, cat inside, don't let them out no matter what they say. But we're very cat friendly as well.
Next question is, we have 3 campuses. Are they convenient access to the new centralized health center? And the answer is yes. The new centralized health center is almost in the center of our 3 campuses. And they will have direct access to transportation. We currently provide that to all of our campuses continually. And of course, with the new health center, that will be a big component to have constant transportation, especially if one spouse is in a building and the other spouse is in the health center. Next question, are you affiliated with any particular healthcare systems? So for services local to our area, Exeter Hospital is the largest full-service hospital. It's about less than 15 minutes from our campus here. It's a full-service hospital with affiliations to Beth Israel in Boston and Leahy. So it does have that affiliation access to Boston. We also have Portsmouth Regional Hospital, about 22 minutes away. And for those who might want to go a little bit further venture, Wentworth Douglas, which is part of the Mass General Health System, is probably about 35 minutes, 40 minutes away. So some really good healthcare resources nearby. Next question, yes, this is being recorded. We generally always keep a recording of our programming. So if you miss something, want to have more detail, we can make sure we get a copy to you.
It's actually automatically sent to them after in the next couple of days if you've actually registered for the event.
Perfect. Do you want to take the next question?
What happens if somebody runs out of money? Yes, we do have a benevolence fund here. What happens first is that we would dip into your 90% refundable portion of entrance fee if you were to run out of money at no fault of your own. Once that is depleted, then you would be able to qualify or apply for our benevolence fund. And that fund would pay your monthly service fee until your death here. We never ask anyone to leave.
Perfect. I'm going to take probably one more question because we're coming up on the hour here, and there's a couple asking kind of the same questions, so that's good. The $95 a month bundle includes a landline phone, your internet, and cable. That's the additional charge again. So basic cable, internet, which is really important to most people here, and landline phone. So we still have them here. So I'm going to stop there because we're really running up at the end of the hour, but really thank you all for your questions, and really some good questions and good information that I'm sure everyone wanted to hear. Again, if you are interested, our next step would be more information. You can go riverwoodsnh.org. We do have a lot of pre-recorded programming if you want to learn more about the community services. But the best way generally is to come in person, meet with either Chrissy, myself, or Lisa. And then we always say it's never too early to join the waitlist with our waitlist times. Most residents will always tell you, do something before you think you ever will need it. Because we want you to be here and really enjoy the active, vibrant community that we are. So on behalf of Chrissy and myself, thank you again for joining today. Wish you a wonderful day. Stay in the nice, cool air conditioning wherever you are, and we hope to see you soon.
Bye.